First video with the new phone. Officially using the actual camera section of it at least. So I gotta start it out with, who from the Father, from God. This one is about a topic I guess everybody probably by now has probably been going through this kind of thing, whether they realize it or not. But if you talk about like spiritual attacks, this is what an example of like what a spiritual attack looks like. Yeah, there's some physical stuff too, but the base of it is something that, well, that's the evil part. Powers and principalities or whatever. Think about it. It's like a cycle, kind of. And probably the only way to maybe remove yourself from it or get away from it, if possible, you've got to get away from the components that's part of that makes up the actual problem. So if you're in a living situation, you already know how they actually get you if trying to work on your body temple and stuff like that. First thing they do, you exercise. They make sure they get to whatever I guess it takes noise they can do to make sure you can't sleep. They can't get you with the sleep through the noise. The devil like his pitchfork, noise fork. They can't get you with the fork if you've got say a water system and somebody can gain access to that water system to put some nasty stuff in there, then they'll try and do that. If that doesn't work, whether it means they drop the water pressure, something wrong with the power so your heater doesn't come on and you got to take a bath or a shower, and hot water ordinarily kills a lot of creepy crawlies and bacteria and stuff like that if you bathe in it hot enough. That's another one. So they got you sleep. They've got, say, if you're in a congested town, a lot of unnecessary vehicles on the road. The pressure problems that can result just from just sitting down and laying down in general for long periods of time on a regular basis, daily basis, sometimes more than daily basis if that's what it is. And that's even if you're in good health. People with big booties, all of a sudden, they see it start to shrink back to flat earth theorists. Yeah, they knew exactly what they be doing. If your food source, you live in a certain area and they know your budget, and you can't ordinarily go where the good quality food is, assuming you got bad quality food they throwing at you on your regular shopping days, if you have regular shopping days, and you don't know how to mix and match and maybe stop and pick up things here and there as you go, you probably find some of the stuff that you ordinarily go to pick up when it's your shopping day. Yeah, it might seem like things might be on sale, but what's wrong with the things? They don't sell things like that ordinarily very cheap. The other thing is too, even if it's good food and you manage to get there on a when they might not be expecting you, because believe me, if you pay attention to it, they are expecting you. Everybody gonna eat at some point. When you get there and you see what you ordinarily might get, if it costs $2, you wonder sometimes. All of a sudden, it's like $4 or $5, $6, $7, and the manager ain't around or available to maybe explain what's going on. You get to your cashier, whether they got you like that or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they might just have the regular prices on there, and then when you get to the cashier, you look at your receipt as you walking out, T1 and T2, supposedly tax. Suppose that means times 1 or times 2. So your regular shopping, if you know you spend religiously less than $50 on the items you usually pick up. You usually know, even if you don't have to take out a calculator and walk through as you actually go and pick up your stuff, you kind of got an idea in your mind of when you kind of getting close to your budget. And you see, for some reason, you get a little, what, $10, $20 over budget, and you start looking at your stuff as you're walking out. And sometimes it might seem like you may have even picked up less items. Yeah, they T1 and T2, you times one, times two. For whatever reason, if it is, it's just to hit your pockets. They got that hole in the bucket thing, trying to fill your bucket, and they can't crack it, steal it, put something in it that ain't supposed to be in there. They do it like that. Your water that you cook and eat with, all bottled water ain't cool. For starters, if you've tried a bunch of different water brands and stuff like that, sometimes, in a place like this, they say third world country, that kind of stuff, things aren't often regulated the way they should be. That's a problem. So don't let pure water, spring water, what other alkaline water get out there and mess up your body. Purified water just means they run it through a filter, some kind of filtering process. Tap water usually, especially if you don't live in a place where they got like rivers or something like that, to recycle fresh water. You get it from the tap, the city water. So that's all that is. Spring water apparently really is the best water because you get an actual, depending on where you get it, I should say, a pretty good balance of vitamins and minerals and maybe sometimes even electrolytes and stuff like that. Your body's kind of like I wouldn't say a battery, but you are a living organism that's got like positives and negatives, electricity. So you got to maintain a balance. Your body has this thing that's called homeostasis, where it just kind of regulates itself if you give it the right stuff and treat it the right way. But if you happen to follow the gimmicks and think, all right, well, they saying this is good and this, that, and next thing. Look at these people who saying these things, and don't always think that just because they do it around you, that that's all they do to keep themselves up or going. They might do it like that, whether they mean to show you and get you hooked on whatever it is they think is right. Do your homework. Spring water usually has your lefts and your rights, your ups and your downs, everything in there if you get a good bottle. Alkaline water is a negative, so you're gonna run into some problems. Some things in the body that gets caught up in there. Alkaline will kill some of the stuff that gets in there that's susceptible to being killed or removed by alkalinity. Some other stuff in there has to be removed by acidity. But if you only got alkalinity, then you kind of run yourself into a problem. So sometimes it's probably even better to just stick with the actual pure water. Even though the alkaline water is supposedly, with the fancy name, makes you think they all caring about you and stuff. Pure water might be better than alkaline water if you ain't a chemist, to know exactly how to, modify your own body chemistry and hormones and stuff like that, because that will throw your shit off using that alkaline stuff. Which isn't good on the pockets either, because you and your doctor might get to be more than good friends if you don't know what you're doing. Spring water, this around here. Ordinarily, all water is supposed to cost around the same price, but you go into food stores and you'll see spring water sometimes $5-6 for a gallon. The regular pure water, like maybe $2 or so a gallon in the food stores. Alkaline water usually about the same as this, as the pure water. Cyclical. Small town, especially where people know everybody. This person exercises a lot and promotes God a lot. Now, man, you might not be out on the streets hollering and preaching, but just the fact that you look good or are seen to be working on looking good No matter who thinks about it, vanity is vanity. If you know you going out self, oh yeah, I look good, and this, that, no, that ain't for you to say. Maybe let some other people say that. But the idea is if your body's the temple and you look like something people want to talk to or get to know, and you're using that as your opportunity to actually attract people to actually, God and talk about topics about God and preaching and that kind of stuff, that's what they don't like. They could, if you look good and not want to do all the bad shit in the world, or they inflicting throw money at you, they'll invite you to this, that, and the next because they know you ain't no harm to nothing or nobody that they care about. You willing to do some wrong stuff. That's all they need. But if you're doing it and you're doing some right stuff, or even just staying out of the way, then that's a problem. So they try and get you in the cycle. Maybe they call that a matrix or whatever. Another thing, if you have been experiencing it, I noticed my shit happen as soon as I made the move, decide to actually go back to church. My phone stopped working. People who ordinarily call me could call me. People who ain't known to probably being used to calling me regularly apparently just ain't get through. And I'm talking like from around 2000, the year 2000. So is it possible that a phone company could be corrupted by bad people? You might think it's only about money, but if you know you ain't had none, or nothing much substantial, it ain't always about money. If they controlling money already, how could it be about money all the time? Good and evil. Your currency is how you live for God. That's the only thing that matters for humanity, whether they like to think about it or not. You wasn't born with no flicking nothing in your no pockets. You didn't have pockets. You didn't come out your mama. Why my pockets? My clothes. No, you was bald ass, naked and greasy, whatever kind of stuff that insomnia was it? Not insomniac. I'm amniotic fluid. Just like everybody else. If you actually had parents. Some of these folks don't have parents, but that's the other thing. They don't necessarily have to play by the same rules. They might look the same as, a lot of us, but suppose they don't have that God connection from natural birth. Something else thrown into the mix. Drones, kamikaze, whatever you want to call them. Drones, clones, even probably clones actually. I don't know, I don't really know how to class them, but still. They trap you in a cycle sometimes where you think you're around reality and you actually might really not be around reality. But don't mean they ain't gonna use it to their advantage or to its advantage to try and get you to do some bad stuff or to be bad or worse. But if you pay attention to your surroundings, I noticed some stuff, like I said, when I first started getting back into going to actual church, like say the building per se, real old fashioned style church. I had to choose between work and church. I mean, this might sound strange, but I had to choose between work and church. I mean, I wouldn't go into too much depth because that's an old story, but guess what I chose? Let's say it like this. Guess what God chose would be more of a better answer. It's like, yep, that story I told that they told me when I first got to, well, high school, but the guy who was real bad and in the dorms and stuff like that, they said listening to a lot of evil music, hell music, or whatever they call it, death metal, whatever they call it. And the devil showed up in his room, snatched him up in his bed, like lift the bed up off of the ground, and like he had like one of them 4-prong bags and pinned him to the ceiling. And he was freaking out and scared, but he saw him appear like in the corner of the building, wicked, oldly looking. However, the devil looked scary, I guess, at the time to do it. And dude, the only thing he could do is remember to actually maybe say the name Jesus. And then he said he felt that warm, comforting feeling coming from the back of him, and that voice appeared just as that comforting feeling hit. He said he saw the face of the devil in the corner of the room just start like getting mad and angry and hollering, "Ah," like Ron, like he say he walk around like a roaring lion, getting angry and mad, saying, "No, no, he's with me." And then the voice came from behind the guy. It's like, "No, he called my name, so he's mine." And that was the end of that. Bed float back down to the ground. Devil disappeared from out of where he appeared from in the corner room. That's just kind of how it is. I wanted to go to church. I made every effort to try and go to church, but work wouldn't let me go. So God put me in church. Yeah, cyclical. So if you're being overworked and underpaid, you're probably gonna look around and pay attention to your surroundings, things going haywire at work for whatever reason, no reason. And it don't make any sense no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you try, no matter how many friends you try and make, no matter how many people you try and help around the job site. Sometimes the job site is just set up to get rid of those that's gonna do good. As if they, I don't know, that ain't for you to decide. But anyway, you just supposed to pay attention, notice it, realize it, and move. If you can move, clean off of the set somewhere else, another town, part of town, another country even. Don't always expect it to be a lot better. Try it out, but don't always expect it to be better because this ain't nothing new. You can imagine however long these systems have been put into place, long before we've been around. So it ain't like something they haven't felt that they've mastered. Corralling, slavery, mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. The more you know, the more you can possibly do. Pick up your cross. And shield. Just in case there is people out there that still ain't quite understanding spiritual attacks. Pause right quick. I'm back. Now, they get you in that cycle where they've been able to wear you down, get you sick, and then you think they're all about, oh, we can help, take you to therapy or something like that, as if you would needed it. Take you to therapy, and they're gonna take money because it ain't free. And if they know they got you or feel they got you like that, they'll say, oh, well, go ahead and take these. Go ahead and take some stuff that don't do nothing except probably make your problems worse. So, what you have to do, help yourself by helping other people to open their eyes. If the place was really flicking totally gone, it would have been probably fully roasted by now. But like how that Sodom and Gomorrah story is, there's still some good. Might not be a lot, but there's still some good. Because the place ain't flicking smoky and charred and roasted. I ain't saying that's gonna, supposed to happen, but when it happens, that's what's supposed to happen by fire. Warm and toasty. Way more than you'd like it to actually be. If you're moving around, they got their little sanitizer things they throw at you, whatever they can to try and whittle you down. If they know your body's cycle, whether they think about it spiritually or not, body, mind, spirit, or I should say it first, God first, spirit, mind, body. Now they all in you, but if they get you away from God, not thinking about church or living as a Christian, the only way nowadays. We ain't talking about what may have been possible way back before and whoever knows. The only way nowadays, Christianity. You might have some people out there with some familiar thoughts, but don't worry about who else ain't there. For all we know, they might be already where they need to be. So that might have been for them. For everybody else now, Christianity, they can pull you away from God, away from Jesus' teachings, away from Bible teachings. That's one thing. If you just never knew about it, that ain't gonna be possible all the time, because it says there's gonna be a time where everybody's had an opportunity to, find out and know, or to know enough to know. So that ain't always it. But if they get you away from that, that's probably your toughest problem right there, because you need to work on your faith. Get your Psalms up, PSALMS. Biblical Psalms. Read them. Sometimes you gotta read your stuff aloud, so the whoever's or whatever's up and around that don't like to hear biblical teaching, scriptures and stuff like that, which you will come across too. People that literally do not want to hear anything biblical or Christian or any kind of teaching or preaching, and no matter who you might think you supposed to be able to comfortably talk about it with, they just literally don't want to hear it, cut you off, talk you off, don't want to hear nothing about it, change the subject, start hollering and screaming, acting as if you doing them something by mentioning God and all them kind of things. Not always the case. Something in them already might be not wanting that stuff to be audible, heard, seen, experienced. So spirituality, the mind, well, that's more of a health thing. They got some things that'll get into your system, not just into your blood, regular organs, can get into your brain, spinal column and stuff like that, and start to decay or, throw off your stuff, which will cause some mental glitches sometimes. Chronic, if you don't know what it is, you might not know what it is, and be susceptible to more and more of it, to the point where it could cause you more than just a bit. So get to know what you need to know. Read, pray God direct you to somebody that can give you good advice. Some of us will, and not just for the sake of having money. People interested more in it about money, it might not always be the best bet. Yeah, people like to get paid, but sometimes, like say, Lord worked on the Sabbath, healed somebody on the Sabbath. It ain't necessarily always something they have to do or want to do, but in a drastic situation, some people out there will help. So, to teach you if you don't know how to read, what to do. But that's on you. First thing is, you point yourself direct in the direction of where God and Jesus is, and go at it your best. Not just what they teach and preach to church like it is nowadays, like to tell a lot of stories, but not necessarily instruct, which is kind of, maybe I'd say, the downfall, but it's kind of what's been missing in a lot of churches and sermons and stuff like that. What has happened, anybody can read that. What to do is what is more important. How to do. Some people like to think some of these things should be kept a secret. Everything in that Bible is not a secret. If you can read it, it was there to be freely read. Shouldn't really be Christian, considering there's things in there that you need to probably hold back from telling people if they need to know. It's like medicinal. If they need it, they need it. If you could show them, and you could tell them, especially if they asking. Don't always be like, oh, you go do it for yourself, this, that, and the next thing, which I have done myself. But I mean, some things are just generally speaking basic knowledge, but some people just really don't need to have that basic knowledge, or maybe they on their last gas out attempt to try and get something and don't have to even the time to even Google something. You don't know. Maybe I've been guilty of that myself, letting people possibly fall through the cracks. But if you're on the faithful side and you know your seed that you put there is should be enough, then it should be enough. Sometimes you feel like going through some more explaining, like today. This ain't an everyday thing for me, but if I get urged to actually say and hey, what's going on nowadays, what people can be experiencing, what I've been experiencing, now that could help somebody, huh? Call that being part of the team player. The best team in the world is still part of a player in the world. If it's on a team, it's still part of a team. Even if you do all the work, still part of a team. Other people got to benefit, and other people will benefit. If that one star player, quote unquote, was wrong, bad, that's still gonna affect the team too. But it's up to y'all to say, hey, uh, we don't think this should be happening, and not just saying away, no, you ball hog. Like I used to tell me, oh, you ball hog. The object of this game, as far as I know, is to put the ball in the net more than the opponent. Now, if that so happens to be a problem, somebody say something, because if it ain't about what I think it's about, y'all might want to say something, because I could put this ball in the net. If that's the case, then hey, that's you gotta be open with your teammates. So this is being open. Not to say pass me the ball like open, but you gotta make sure people around you have their best opportunity to make their best decisions too, which will uplift them, uplift around them, and like a flicking medicine around the community, around the town, around the country, and possibly around the world. So, spirit, mind, body, you got some things that will interconnect. It ain't all just all black and white. Spiritual stuff is real. Things that you might not want to know about. People class as diseases aren't always diseases. People talk about demon possession and stuff like that. They might be thinking some weird, spooky, holographic looking kind of in a different realm, kind of pop in and out, kind of illuminated kind of creatures. Suppose some of them is just bugs. You know, often people walk around with bugs and parasites and stuff inside of them without even realizing it, causing problems. So that's the problem. The food intake, exercise, fuel, your vehicle, your temple to be able to exercise it, pump your stuff through so it can get to wherever it needs to get throughout the body, throughout your, venous system. So there are little clogs and glitches in your system. So your stuff will not stay in there unnecessarily fast. If fasting is good for the body as well too. Pray and fast, because it ain't always gonna be easy to just miss that first meal and then you get little headaches and stuff like that. But if you don't like it, imagine how them things inside you ain't gonna like it when that acid start to build up and get to roasting the ass. So God know exactly how he made these temples, these bodies. And he know how to clean them out when it's time to clean them out. But you just gotta don't actually be the one to always wait on him to say, hey, actively knowingly do it. Because if you're waiting on something miraculous to happen, and it might not seem to happen that way, sometimes you might get a boost of energy to feel like going on a jog, or if you like to swim, a swim, or a exercise, or to read the Bible, or to I don't know, teach somebody else. Next thing you know, hey, somebody come and say, hey, I kind of like that sermon. Hey, sit down and have a drink. Can we talk about something? And they offer you, I don't know, a tea. It might be mint. Mint is medicine. Mint kill worms. I ain't gonna say all of them. They might offer you a job or something like that. Something like them video games where you get your little power pellets and stuff like that. You know, I like my Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. You may get a little power pellet or a little, extra boost or something like that just from, the karmic effect of doing the right thing. The body. Body is the temple. The body of the church, the people. Building blocks. Anyhow, spiritual cycles, I gotta get ready to go jump in the tub, not I got this funeral supposed to go to today. So sometimes God just pick you up and put you in church if He wants you in the actual building. There's some other ways He actually gets you in the actual building if you know you're one of those who possibly then only, go and fill up your spiritual fuel tank every now and again with absorbing maybe some other good energies or being in more in the presence of some people who believe in His presence. Sometimes that could be a cleanse, a boost for sure. I can't say I've ever actually felt bad going in the building. So it ain't, I'm not like I'm against the building. That's just a comfortable place for people to worship who actually into worshiping, even if it's only for that day. Something about it just don't always feel wrong. And you might see some wrong stuff and know some stuff about that, but that ain't what you there for. You there, you in, while you in there. So don't be all about wondering what this person and the next person doing. People do some stuff sometimes, a lot. Focus on you. So cyclical, your spirit, mind, body, your travels. You announce too much stuff where you going. Somebody said to me the other night, I hear people saying this, they got this, shh, be quiet, hold your tongue, save your life, this, that, and the next thing. You got some old fashioned stuff, some old passed down heritage type cultural, tribal type stuff where people actually know more about the spirit side than the actual, the book side. But we'll get into that later. I got a call coming in. Grunge out for now.